am currently the Town of Lynn clerk, have been for 10 years. I'm also the chair of the Wisconsin Towns Association Waupaca unit. I am also the treasurer of the Wisconsin Towns Association, and I'm also a mentor of that same association, which means that if another clerk steps into this role, as I did, and had no clue what they were getting into, that they can pick up a phone and call a clerk, and we assist them because in the clerk and position, the laws are changing constantly. We have election laws that are changing the day of elections, and it's unreal. I am the only certified municipal clerk that is running. That means I went through a 3-year course through the University of Green Bay, and that's also entailed 275 hours of continuing education in that 3 years. I am on the board of directors for Journey Shelter, which is a future domestic shelter that we're trying to get in place in Waupaca County. Currently, we do not have one. I am a survivor of domestic violence. And Dmitri knows that things need to change in our court systems when it comes to domestic violence. When the judge up there says it's a he said, she said situation, and I'm sorry I didn't realize that the words made the black eyes and the broken nose and broken bones. And that's sad. I'm also on a volunteer for the World Health Initiative, which is a wellness program for our agricultural system. We send nurses out to the farm and do health wellness checks.
I'm in my 15th year as the mayor of the city of Waupaca. That makes me the longest serving mayor in Waupaca. I'm a partner in an accounting firm called Smith & Radke Accounting LLC, which has offices in Waupaca and Manawa, which are both in our district. And I also, with 3 of my brothers, we own a bar restaurant, which most of you will know about. I'm a former teacher. I taught school in Racine in Waupaca. And when I was in Waupaca, for 3 years, I was the past president of the Waupaca Teachers Association. I'd like to see a change in attitude at the state level. We need a better relationship between the state government and the local government, and a better relationship between the state and public employees. I believe the state's current attitude towards public employees is harmful and is an ineffective tool for providing additional funds to local government. Communities must be allowed to make their own decisions. Local elected officials know what is best for their communities. There have been way too many harmful mandates that have come from the state. With the cuts in road dollars, shared revenues, and other state funding, communities are having a difficult time maintaining services and infrastructure. And in many cases, they are using future tax dollars to balance their current budget. Ooh. Exactly. Leaning back on my accounting knowledge, it doesn't work. As a father of 3 grown children and a grandfather of 5, I understand the need for strong public schools. As a former teacher and a union rep, I know that we need to invest in our local schools instead of sending taxpayer dollars to private voucher schools in Milwaukee. Our ultimate goal should to have an educated and qualified workforce. What I say is the way I'll vote. Our current senator talks the talk. When it comes right down to it, his vote is based on how it affects his position within the party. He seems to have no concern for his constituents. Luther has been a blank check for Governor Walker's agenda, and that's not in the best interest of anybody. As a small business owner, we need to do more to raise wages and benefits. Through Act 10, public employees were bashed by private employees because of their good benefits. We need to change that mentality so that all employees expect to get good wages and good benefits. This will only help small businesses and local economies to thrive. The current administration's approach to improving and funding transportation is fiscally irresponsible. Using future tax dollars to fund current projects is unsustainable. I will work with transportation stakeholders to come up with a long-term plan that maintains and improves our infrastructure. And I will help propose funding methods that will not hurt our future.
To me, politics is about, or at least should be about, people. Not the people that the Supreme Court considers people, but real people. People like you and me. Right? All people. Young and old, male and female, rich and poor. In the United States of America, we are all entitled to equal representation. And yet, we are not being equally represented. The system is broken and under the control of a dark and corruptful force. A force so powerful that nothing meaningful can be accomplished until this menace is brought to heel. I'm running to confront this force and to restore our government to the people. It won't be easy, and I can't do it alone, but it must be done.
We'll help you.
Thank you. If not for ourselves, for our children. And it doesn't matter whether you consider yourself a Republican, an independent, or Democrat, we all share this common enemy. And we can defeat this enemy, not by defending our entrenched political parties, instead by putting our differences aside and uniting our forces. And who is this enemy? I think it's obvious. It's big money. I'm talking about the captains of industry. I'm talking about the Walmart family. Big insurance, big pharmaceuticals, Wall Street bankers,
Big money.
big oil,
Yes.
big coal,
Koch brothers.
the Koch brothers, multinational corporations, old money billionaires.
Trump.
Big money bankrolls our state and our national parties. Whether it's Walker working for the Koch brothers, Hillary working for Wall Street, or my opponent Kevin Peterson working for big nuclear, it's all the same. We know who runs the show, and it ain't us. What we are witnessing is the direct result of free market ideology taken to the extreme. And as the rich become richer and corporations become more and more powerful, they and their army of lobbyists have infiltrated and taken control of our state and national governments.
Everything.
Everything. So, instead of government keeping the free market in check, big money bribes our leaders and drafts our laws. They have enslaved the one force strong enough to police them: our government. Our government, the very institution that millions of Americans have fought and died for. The institution that our most revered Republican President Abraham Lincoln championed in his Gettysburg Address. A government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Yeah. Of course it's going to be the multinationals that bribe their way into no-bid contracts, that monopolize markets, that evade taxes.
No.
Of course it's the corporate predators that threaten to fire employees, relocate facilities, or build elsewhere unless they receive tax breaks or subsidies.
Bull.
That's right.
No more corporate welfare.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think of Mercury Marine. Right? Of course, it's the corporations like Walmart that fail to pay their workers a living wage, forcing taxpayers to subsidize the difference in the form of food stamps, Medicaid, and rental assistance. I own my own business, and my father did before me. I certainly am pro-business. I understand and I celebrate the positive aspects of capitalism. We have the strongest economy in the world, thanks in large part to private ownership of local businesses, of competition for consumers, of prices that depend upon balancing supply with demand. But we can do better. We can have a strong economy and a strong government. We need to do something fast on climate change. So let's just call it what it is. It's protection of big oil and big coal, and not protection of our people.
That's right.
If these companies stand in the way of progress towards sustainable energy and a sustainable climate, then their leaders need to be held accountable and imprisoned for damaging our environment and endangering the lives of billions. Businesses of all sizes should support public funding of technical colleges. It's in their own self-interest. They need high-skilled labor in their factories and offices. But we also need publicly funded community colleges. Community colleges teach independent thinking and leadership skills necessary for new business startups that grow the middle class, that create broad, diverse, and resilient economy. We can make Wisconsin great again. We can take on big money, we can fight climate change, we can grow our middle class, we can make our state once again a role model of public education.